cuts with Kenny, but it wasn't the kind of relationship where I had his phone number, We know there's different relationships you have. Just a great guy. And I was like, unlisted number, I better answer this. And it didn't say spam. You know how we get those
Forward.
now? Yeah. I wonder if now, this is a couple of years ago too. Yeah. So I answered it in the middle of the session. It was weird. Unlisted. And I thought, okay. And it was Kenny, and it was literally him saying, Slater. I'm like, yeah, Kenny, how you doing? He goes, man, I got your number from Buddy Cannon, his producer. And he said, dude, you just wrote my life on the water. And I just never forget him saying that. I went, which song? Because I sent songs to his producer through different things. And he said, guy's named Captain. He said, I was just on a boat in St. John, where he's got a house. And he goes, man, I was sitting on the boat with like 4 or 5 boat captains who were buddies of mine down there, and I played it. I just had sat down at the piano just like that and done a piano vocal. That's it. That's what I love about this town, circling back. I didn't need a whole massive production if the song is right. That's what I love about this town. And he had listened to the piano version. And if you hear it, man, it's like, it's good. It's honest. And I'd sent it, thrown it on the tape, and he goes, dude, Tears, I'm cutting that with Mac McAnally playing guitar. I see the vision. It's going to be the last song on my record. And I'm going to do it with Mac McAnally. It was Buffett's band, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And then 3 months later, he cut it, came out, and oh my God, it's great. Oh, one last little story about that. I was sitting around one night about a month later, and he called, now I had his phone number there. I'm like, oh, it's Kenny. And he said, man, I just cut a guy's named Captain. And you know at the end of the song where you go, Captain Vic, which is your dad? He said, how about, do you mind if I put my own dad, Captain Dave's name in there? Because he was a boat captain too. And of course at that point you're like, Kenny's going to reach a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't mind at all, man. Do it. I'd had an experience or two before. If you're in this town long enough, you get requests like that. And usually you acquiesce to the artist if it's, it's not a deal breaker. And with Kenny, man, what a great guy. He goes, yeah, he called me to ask me about that. There's been other instances which people just change it and they don't call you, you just hear it when it comes on. Wait a second. But you know what? That's part of the game.
Right.
You're honored to have a song. But Kenny called and I said, man, go for it, Kenny. I get that. He hung up the phone. And then 10 minutes later, man, he called back and he was like, hey, was your dad is that song honest? He plays mandolin and all those experiences are kind of based around his life. I said, man, every line in that song is true. And this will be great for any songwriters. Again, the truth is the most important thing. The specific stuff relates to other people, And so I said, yeah, it's all true. And he goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm going to leave your father Vic's name in there. And that was so cool. And now, years later, it's probably been 4 years now since the song came out. I performed that song, man, 1,000 times, and it knocks people out, especially in the tropical areas where there's a lot of people who love the ocean there. And I can't tell you, man. And just Captain Vic, people come up, oh, I wish we knew your dad, or I wish we did this. And I got to thank Kenny Chesney, man, for recording it, number one. And I want to thank him for keeping my dad's name in there, because he didn't have to do that. Even if he had changed it to his own dad's, I would have got that too. But it's so special to play it at the end in front of a big crowd and kind of look up and think that my dad never got to hear the song, but I think he'd be honored to have his name in there. So it's a nice story, because you'll hear stories about artists. You hear all kinds of, they did this or they did this. But man, Kenny Chesney, dude, that guy's amazing.
Massive respect for that.
Yeah.
What a neat story.
Very cool story.
And finally, too, I want to give him a shout out because his manager told me long ago I had a song called The Life. I was talking about that earlier. He pulled me up on stage to sing that. And I remember he took a song that he wrote off his record and put that song, The Life, which was an outside co-write, me and Casey Beathard, on the record. And I remember sitting down with his manager, Dale Morris, after that happened. I'm like, wow. Dale said, James, Kenny is a great writer. If you look at his catalog, he's written some great songs. But he knows, it's like, what will put 60,000 people in a stadium? It's not so much who writes the song. It's like, what's the best song? And he's smart enough to know. He goes. Dale Morris, right? Slater, Kenny's been filling stadiums up for 20 years. How do you think he does that? It doesn't matter who wrote the song. It's the song. And how great is it to hear that as a writer, to be in this town, where Chesney, because that's certainly not the case. We can go into others. artists, of course, they want to write their own stuff, but man, who'll go, dude, I'm taking a song I wrote. This is a better song. This will relate to my fans. And he will take that song off and put it on there, and put a song that he didn't write on there. Man.
Talk about the antithesis of ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then talk about success. Tim McGraw's, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra. I'm naming artists that don't write. Or Garth Brooks even, that can write. Kenny Chesney can write. These guys write. But they cut outside songs, and they've got long, massive careers.
Right.
I'm not at all saying artists shouldn't write. I'm just saying, man, if you hear a song, I had certain artists, God, I love that song. We should write something like that. I'm like, just cut that song if you love it so much, So I love that.
I love the teaming aspect of that. Hill and I, as we journey through our debut stuff that we're working on, one of the main themes is who's our team?
Yeah.
Because we've gone through the temptation of trying to do it all ourselves, the whole ego thing, and ego's still going to be a challenge for me every day.
Yeah.
But inviting the players in, inviting the people who have their strengths, and seeing that, and seeing the bigger picture, and how much of this town and the project of artistry is so much more of the togetherness.
Yeah.
Is part of the whole curation.
Oh my gosh.
That's I hope that stays alive.
Man, it's like that in sports.
Yeah.
It's like that in there's big sports. Yeah, you keep that, and God, you learn so much when you open up your heart a little bit and bring other people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this is nice. You guys are a team doing this. It's better with two of you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's way more fun.
Fulfilling.
Even if it's just
absolutely
the creating itself, kind of like your dad saying you don't understand the zen of sailing. It's like there are plenty of writers, and I love to write on my own too, but forget the result and the song and all the successes and all that. Really, when you get down to it, that's the part that I really love.
Yeah. Collaborating.
Yeah, collaborating and understanding people's stories and staying in that kind of creative space.